live on location at High Bank Distillery in beautiful Columbus, Ohio. Beautiful, warm, sunny, breezy Columbus, Ohio.
It's year round.
Why are we clapping?
Someone clap, you clap.
But anyway, we are up here live at High Bank. We had a few people here from High Bank. We'll get to their introductions here in a second. But on behalf of the Bird Boys, I want to quickly say thank you for letting us come in here. Use your table, your spread, have a good time.
Yes, thank you.
Have a good part.
Cheers to you guys.
Cheers, Barry. Cheers.
Cheers.
So, as you get here, or people show up, I'll mention this throughout, everything that we'll be talking about today on this live will be saved and uploaded to our YouTube, and perhaps podcast is an idea we're working on here. So if you have to check out, you have to go watch some basketball, or you have friends coming on later, just know this will be on YouTube later. So with that being said, throughout this we'll be sampling some of their great products that they're working on, and stick around because we might be doing a tour here at the end. Okay?
Tour.
Sound good?
Tour.
Is that how I say it?
Stay tuned for the tour.
Tour.
I only use tours.
I thought
Tour.
we'll go on some tours at the end. Tours. So with that being said, do you guys want to try it? Yes. What do you guys think about trying first? We start with
Regular whiskey.
Yeah. Okay, so real quick, how about we introduce everybody real quick? And then we'll dive into it. So, here's the end. Todd, if you want to...
I'm Todd. I'm a tour guide here at High Bank Distillery.
Also,
I am Buckeye Bourbon Guy on Instagram, so if you like to look at pictures of bourbon and my witty comments, feel free to follow.
I'm Dylan. I'm the distillery and productions assistant here at High Bank. So everything outside of the cooking, I do here at High Bank, as well as events. So.
I'm Tony. I'm the brand specialist, not just drink.
Hey, you already have suggestions, though, for you if your mom wanted the bottles.
Unfortunately, they put the bottles in front of me for some.
Hey, whiskey. Yeah, and guys, comment questions throughout. If you want to know anything about High Bank Distillery, these guys are the guys to ask. Okay.
Yeah, we have producer Max behind, so he'll be able to make sure we get questions answered.
But yeah, I'm Chance.
I'm Justin, Steven, Brian.
Okay, we got Max and Sticks, we got beautiful Kelly working the bottles over here on the side. So, with that being said, we'll get to that first bottle.
Pass this one, Karen's now?
Yeah, you want to
Pass the bottle.
Just want to see.
So this is Whiskey War. This is our, we call it regular Whiskey War or Black Label. This is our 88 proof expression. This is a blend of 3 MGP whiskeys, 95% rye, 21% rye, and a 36% rye. So let's get started.
Yeah.
All
I
this
know.
is set at 88 proof as well.
I'm sorry, too slow.
Get there.
Oh, that's a nice angle that we got on the close-up bottle. I like that.
You like that?
They can pass it down.
That was nice.
Beautiful.
Yeah, we should get some of those like
Your bottle.
at the house. Yeah, there's like little pouring.
Thanks. So,
Yeah, we should get some of those.
oh, sorry.
Are you gonna drink that?
All right. Oh, sorry. Okay, so while we're sipping on this thing, so what do you guys think? Like, how would you explain High Bank to someone who doesn't know? Like, what, like the background of High Bank? What kind of experiences do you guys offer here? Because someone want to run down, don't know what anything about this.
I'll let Pig take this one.
Elevated but casual. That's what we go for here.
Whoa.
From the restaurant to the distillery, everything is elevated. It's well thought out. It's meticulous. I think that's what shows in our product that we have here at High Bank. It starts at the top and it's a trickle down from our owners. They set us up well, do everything right, and I think it helps everyone else out.
Yeah, we offer tours here, as Chance says. We also do a master's blend class where you blend your own whiskey. Basically, that's to simply put it. We do events, we do parties here, no weddings. It's a whiskey society, yeah. We also have a whiskey society where you can, $200? Sign up for it? Yeah, right. We're going to talk about doing more tiered plans. So if you're already a member and you want to sign up again, but you don't want like a t-shirt or the tours again, you can do a tiered plan, but that's coming in the future. We also do private tastings Whiskey Society back here on typically Thursdays when a new barrel stuff's coming out. So a lot of stuff going on. A lot of stuff.
Yeah, nice. And so we did a tour once, and that was obviously a lot of fun with Tony and coming to meet a lot of you guys. But that Master's Blood class, really get into that, 'cause that's like, I think that's honestly one of the coolest things that a distillery offers. I've heard.
Yeah. Yeah, so we take 4 different mash bills. 3 of those are actually in our whiskey war, and we teach you how to blend those different mash bills together to make your own whiskey for your own palate. So it's similar to what our master distiller Adam Hines did when he was making whiskey war, and we kind of take that. It took about 9 months to do it. You take that 9-month period, take it down to about an hour and a half, and then you leave with your own bottle of whiskey that night.
And then you can reorder that every month. Every month as you drink it every month.
Once you finish that bottle, you
Yeah.
might as well just reorder.
Dave and his fiance are actually talking about getting.
Yeah, we're gonna do it soon.
Yeah,
It's a lot of fun.
I think it would be sweet to do that.
we can make you add on, so just pick a time.
We'll find a thing.
Yeah.
You know the right people.
Awesome. So you guys said elevated but casual, and you guys have a whole distillery back here, but you guys also have like a really, really nice restaurant out. So, I mean, would you guys say you're really more of a distillery first, a restaurant first, or where do you guys kind of hang your hat when you guys talk about where you
I think we hang our hat on the fact that we're the first distillery that was built up as a distillery with a bar and kitchen concept in the state of Ohio.
Really?
I'll drink to that.
Entire state.
That's cool.
We try and feature that with the Florida ceiling windows so that when you are in the dining room, you do feel like you're also eating in the distillery. You can see everything that's going on, whether people are coming in during lunch, seeing operation happening back here, some production as well, or whether it's in the evening and production is stopped back here, but you're still close to those windows. You're sitting by the still. It's an intimate experience to see where the products are coming from. Be able to drink as well. Sorry, Todd.
No. So in 2016, the laws in the state of Ohio changed. Prior to that, you could not have a restaurant and a distillery under the same roof. Which way should I say that?
I say riff.
So when we opened our doors in 2018, we were the first, as Dylan said, ground-up distillery in the state of Ohio.
Okay. Yeah, and yeah, the food here is obviously awesome. I'm not sure we'll be able to capture on this live, but check our page. We'll be getting more shots of the restaurant itself. I mean, it really is top notch. Pretty captivating to come in.
Yeah, our Whiskey War Barrel Proof also won Best American Blended Whiskey at the San Francisco.
World Series competition.
And we're the first distillery in Ohio, right? To win an award period or that award? You guys know? I know it's one of the 2.
I would go with at least that award.
Okay, at least that award, so that's awesome.
Well, that's actually a great segue. I was going to add with years. So, what's it like being I guess a distillery in Columbus, but also in Ohio in general? What's that like?
It's challenging. There's a lot of laws that are working against us, and I think our Columbus community, we have the Ohio Distillers Guild that we are a part of as well. We're all working together to push legislation forward, to push the boundaries of what distilling in Ohio here is. I don't think that we can do that as a single distillery is going to be able to pull that off. We're working against time, essentially everything that's been set up over years and years of legislation. But I think that we came out of this COVID experience of quarantine with a couple big wins with the to-go cocktails and a lot of areas around town. You see the Dora, the outside drinking areas being set up, and I think that ultimately moves us in the right direction.
Nice. We have 2 really good questions here. One is, where do you guys source your ingredients? And also, what products does David use in his hair?
Maybe they're the same ingredients.
Yeah, do you guys collaborate on those things?
American crude ingredients.
Don't say that you don't pay some money.
So whiskey barrels we source from NGP out of Indiana, and then grain we get from Malt House or House of Malts. One of those 2.
Okay,
House Malt.
Not house.
Not house. The chance of saying it'd be house.
Yeah, but it's
actually
house.
Sorry.
And they're located in Cleveland.
Cleveland.
Yeah.
And we get our barrels from Speyside in Jackson, Ohio.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
So we
Ryan was-
source as much from Ohio as we possibly can.
Yeah, Ryan was he's been talking to them a little bit about going down there and check out their.
Yeah, I think that'd be just kind of a different dynamic.
I want to come to Cooper's trip.
You want to go?
Yeah, definitely.
I think that'd be awesome just to kind of see it and kind of get a feel of like the before. So it'd be kind of cool, but it's not far away. It's like an hour away from where we're located here.
Road trip.
We'll just do a live road trip.
That'd be awesome.
But
But responsibly. We'll be responsible in the car as we're tripping. It'll be good. Yeah. We will be tripping, I guess, in the sense of driving, not like tripping on anything else.
Whoa!
Yeah, they said they're going to
Speak for yourself.
So another good question we have here in the comments. So we've been on this Whiskey War, the flagship product here.
Yep.
And what do you guys think? I really like it.
Yeah.
It's gone.
It's gone.
It's definitely something that, when you see it at a liquor store, you can rent it. Especially if like you're not familiar and you're just getting started in bourbon. Grabbing something like this is just a great start. It's just different than all your Buffalo Traces or your Woodford Reserves or anything like that. Everyone always hears about stuff, but like grabbing something local, especially, is just, and for this, I mean, it's amazing.
I will say, I know you guys say there's MGP in this, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes MGP is like, I don't know if it's for budgeting or what. I get like a lot of like almost like a nougat. And it's like what you get from like Snickers.
Oh, yeah.
And that's kind of like what I'm getting. It's like that nougaty kind of like, not so much chocolate, but almost like malted chocolate type of flavor. Just like it from this one.
So it's a blend. So we don't just take 95 rye like other people and then just put it in our bottle.
Right.
We blend it with, so it's 3 different whiskeys blended together. So 2 bourbons and a rye, all blended to make this blend basically. And only a few people know the Krabby Patty secret formula. So.
And the blend, by the time you're done, is about an 80% rye. So
Really?
yeah, and I don't think it drinks overly like a rye.
No.
You don't get the grassy,
So this is
minty
rye.
note.
Technically, yeah.
Well, it's a rye blend.
You can't call it rye because you blend the bourbons in it. But
Oh, okay.
But
Well, I mean,
it is 80% rye. So, but like I said, I don't think you get the grassy, minty notes that often accompany.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, that's a MGP rise for me, which we did a whole video about Midwest grain products, kind of like the sleeper distiller behind a lot of action. But usually they are minty with their rise. Sometimes they don't see too much. Kind of
Yeah.
So going off this conversation, how do you guys get along with other distilleries? I know you guys had a collaboration model, which you guys can talk about that, but how do you guys get along with other Columbus distilleries or Ohio distilleries? What's that look like?
We throw down every other week. We just, everybody, each one picks a person, and we just.
We have to
get
do a
ready
fight
to
back
go.
here in the distillery,
Yeah.
actually, yeah. Best man wins. No, we're all friends. We've done the Ohio Collab Bottle. We are all part of the Ohio Distillers Guild. We're actually doing a flight thing coming up here soon with all local distilleries. So we're all friends. There's no animosity. It's all trying to grow, basically, what's it called? Rising tide raises all ships, so kind of thing. So yeah,
Nice.
I almost missed that whole analogy.
That's what happened with the whiskey.
Yeah.
Tony, can you explain the guild, people that don't know, what the guild?
Yeah, it's basically simple enough. All the distillers got together, they formed a guild so that they could therefore pass legislation and do things to better spirits.
So yeah, we have our own lobbyist. We have a lot of representation with OHLP as well. And it's basically just getting together, talking about code. A lot of it is the ins and outs, and it's not that interesting. Basically,
Well,
just making sure your distilleries are up to code. But with the lobbyist, we are working together to push it.
And maybe this will be a conversation I have in a little bit, but why do you guys feel like you need lobbyists? Do you feel like there's not enough room for you guys to operate?
I mean, so Tony talked
I guess
about
you guys can tread lightly on this one.
Yeah.
Here,
I'll try as much as I want. No,
I was gonna say.
so basically, wine and beer have a lot of people in certain positions, I guess you could say, that kind of promote them a lot more and kind of set us back. I'll stop there.
Yes, listen, everybody knows Ohio is a pain in the butt in terms of spirits.
Yeah.
And so the fact, we're affiliated with, we're in the guild. Adam actually is the president of the guild. And to the extent we can get lobbyists and help open up the state of Ohio when it comes to getting spirits in, which,
out.
there's a lot of people I know who go to Michigan, Indiana, Kentucky to get bottles because you can't get them in Ohio.
Yeah, right.
And so,
It's a lot to do with distribution. And as Tony talked about earlier, we want that best blended whiskey in America for barrel proof. But with how our legislation is here, that best blended whiskey in America is essentially the best blended whiskey in Ohio because we can't ship outside of the state without some ins and outs that we've figured out, but it's limited.
I think one thing too that I guess is kind of changing in the state though is they at least here I guess in the city they are kind of advertising on the Columbus Distillery tour. So it's kind of cool to see that. Now obviously there's probably a lot more behind the scenes that we don't see, but it is kind of neat to see like an opening. I guess there's 5 maybe local here in the city. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's something that Adam worked really hard on.
That's another collab as well. I forget what it's called exactly. The Ohio Distillery
Trail. Distillery Trail.
Yeah, we did spin off that with our tour of them, but and we call it that just so I can say it as many times as possible. So we have a lot of questions thrown in here, so I see all of them. I'm keeping a mental note. But this one of them I see might be a good segue for our next sample here. We have a question that says that, I like sweet wine. Which of your bourbons do you guys feel you would recommend for them to try?
That is an absolute tee-up question because we have a product that we will be showing off later on.
You can show the screen. So it's this one here.
Midnight Cast.
Midnight Cast.
So it's actually an 85% whiskey with
it's the green.
15% tawny port wine
Show the
from
green.
Australia. So it is a combination.
But it's actually blended. It's not aged in a wine cask like a lot of the finishing. This is actually blended, so you get those sweet notes. And Adam is basically kind of lazy, and so the desire was to create a cocktail in a glass that he could just pour in because he drinks everything neat. So that was kind of the concept behind the Midnight Cast.
I like it. And so we're pouring what right now? Barrel proof.
This is the one that won Best American Blended Whiskey.
And Kelly, you can show this one if you don't mind.
The green one?
Yeah, the green one. Yep. And we had another question here that said, where'd you guys get the name Whiskey War? I think this one's really interesting.
Tour guide Todd.
That's a great one.
So Todd.
Geez, I tried to do the Reader Digest version.
Yeah. Keep it,
But basically, Whiskey War in 1875, there was a guy by the name of Henry Corbin, opened a saloon in, of all places, Westerville, Ohio, which is known as the dry capital of the world. It met the reception you might think, the women in black dresses lined up arm in arm, protesting. Ultimately, Henry shows up on his front porch, fires his pistols into the air, ends the pistols. Cooler heads prevail, everyone goes home. That night, someone throws a couple of sticks of dynamite into the saloon and blows it up. Henry is not deterred. He rebuilds on the exact same spot, and it meets the exact same reception, except this time, somebody rolls in a powder keg and blows it up. Henry, at this point, decides location, moves to Columbus, but that's known as the Whiskey War, the beginning of the Whiskey War between the Prohibitionists and the anti-Prohibitionists that ultimately culminated in Prohibition in 1920. That's the Reader Digest.
all the side of the
We like to pay homage here.
It is awesome.
It's to Henry.
Yeah, Henry. Cheers.
So this is batch 34. We do our blending in small batches, batches of 6, right?
Yeah, 6 barrels.
6 barrel batches.
And that's, not to jump over you, but like in the reference of the bourbon industry, when you say small batch, it says pretty nondescript number, but six barrels, actually, that's a small batch.
Yeah.
So yeah,
That's a small, that's an actual small batch.
Put it into perspective for you. It took us 3 years to get through batches 1 to 12. We win Best Blended Whiskey in America with batch 12, which is when our product switched over from 2.5-year whiskey to a 4-year whiskey at that time. Since last April, we are now on batch 36.
Wow. And do you guys still give an improving on that each time then, or what do you guys think? Or just various?
I mean, the barrels that we're sourcing from MGP have been coming over, some of them have been coming over 5-year plus, so I think those, the aging differences are definitely providing us some sweetness. Yeah, it's a lot of sweetness that is driving through that ride for sure.
And I'm like,
Yeah,
It's
so
great.
the batch 34 that we're drinking now, I mean, is a much sweeter, to me, mouthfeel than what we have had
previous.
probably up to about batch 33.
Yep.
Yeah.
So this is a much sweeter, again, just a product of the aging process. It's getting older as we blend it each time.
When we go on the tour, I'll let you guys dig into batch 36, which I just mixed on batch on Friday.
All right, hang out for that. So might be seeing something special. So one thing we were talking about before we got started here, we can read about it. So I'm going to dominate this conversation, but it's okay.
And yet here we are.
But anyway, let me continue.
He's got the iPad. He's in charge.
I got talking about some of the challenges that you guys have been facing, like with restaurant and the distillery side. There's there's COVID, obviously. I don't know if you guys ever heard of that, but there's the war that's going on. Glass. We're talking about meat too. I mean, what are these shortages? What are these challenges been like for you guys? How have you guys been like navigating these things?
Yeah, we can start on the glass shortage. Our whiskey more bottle is currently changed.
Kelly, do you want to show both of them?
So we have the old one, which we're going to go back to, so we get some more glass.
So the old one's a square one.
Oh, so you
want to show
will go
and make sure you show
back.
the
Higher
higher
shoulder.
We're not. Yeah.
Yep. So that's
It's the bottle that's in shape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got the tight V,
got
and then now we're like the dad bod straight down.
Yeah, but now we're using the dad bod bottles, we call it, and temporarily until we get more glass in stock.
I like this bottle though.
It's nice.
I do
Now,
like-
honestly, from a distance, you can't really tell.
It's not a bad bottle, and you may see it with something else later.
I'm a big
Dandy.
Davon guy, so.
Well, it's a labeling part. The bottle's trying to run away from it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so kind of tutor off that. We do hand label, hand seal everything, hand bottle everything here. There's no machine that does it. It's all this machine right here.
Yeah,
Flex,
it's
flex,
made.
flex form, flex machine.
and it has like the malt. I heard there's a malt shortage. Does that affect you guys at all? Maybe with increased prices or anything, or do you guys know?
We haven't seen anything with that.
Okay.
It's the glass. It's the whiskey now.
Yeah. We've had a few situations we couldn't get rain for a second,
Yeah.
but not really detrimental.
Okay.
So I do have a question. So throughout like our tours that we've been on, it's everything. You guys have a lot of freedom, and all the workers and all the distilleries seem to have such a great relationship, and it seems like everyone's always on the same page all the time for you guys. Are there ever times when like you guys are trying bottles or trying barrel, and someone's like, "Oh, I think this is amazing," and everyone else is like, "Oh, this is fucking trash," and you guys get like an argument about whether it's it's aged more, or the flavor profile's on, or is there behind the scenes stuff that isn't always buddy? Is there stuff that you guys do argue about?
There are definitely arguments, but they're not like heated discussions. For example, it was the Midnight Casimir that we came out with. We all tasted it, and some of us thought it was ready, and then Adam said it wasn't. So therefore, it wasn't. You know what I mean?
He's got the final say with it.
Yeah.
It's his baby, but I mean, at the end of the day, he trusts us to take care of his product and his brand, and I mean that's why we're here. That's why we're placed in the positions that we are. I had my hand in the proofing of batch 2 of Double Oak, which ultimately I won another Best of Class award, which was great. And
You say I won.
no, I did not win that. Todd did not win that. But that Double Oak batch 2 won another Best of Class award and Best of in Ohio, Best Whiskey in Ohio. So I wouldn't say that there's heated arguments by any means. I think it's a give and take relationship that we have back here.
Because it definitely calls the core group together to come taste things and get their opinions and you take into account. You know what I mean? So it's all love.
You're making bourbon. How heated could it be?
Right.
Well,
How heated could it be? We're making beer. We're making bourbon.
Sit there for a few hours, you start drinking a few whiskeys,
About 200 degrees.
you start getting drunk.
Yeah. So we only taste stuff like, so if we do a tasting, it's like just then. We don't really go past like 4, right? Because what you said happens, right? You start to burn your palate out. You start to get more and more, inebriated, right? So it just kind of goes out the window at that point. You're like, I taste. What? Not for you, Todd?
Unless you're me.
Oh, yeah. No, yeah. Todd has a special skill. It's called being an alcohol. I mean,
It's called being committed. Come on.
responsible committedness.
Committedness to the process.
Yes.
All right, so that kind of goes into like our next segment a little bit, which is like creating new products,
Yes.
right? So, kind of talk about creating products. I don't know if you guys have all seen the recent video up on our page was is bourbon balls. So made these homemade myself.
Can you bring your balls up closer to the
I
camera?
will show you all my balls. So
You can tell back
this is actually my first batch. It's a very small batch, as you can tell. There's a lot of fun.
Way to use that.
But now it's just something fun to do, and I guess kind of relating. I have not tried these yet, so
You haven't played with your balls?
no, I haven't. They could be terrible.
Could be terrible.
I like your balls.
But
Your ball delicious.
kind of, I guess, piggybacking off of that is I guess where do you start? I guess when you're creating something new that's going to go into a bottle. Like how do you think about different aspects of it? The mouthfeel, the finish, the notes that you get in the nostril. How do you kind of go based off of that with creating something that maybe no one else has ever had?
I think this plays off well with Adam's artistic background. I think him being a graphic designer by trade and having that artist background really plays into his creativity with his whiskey. Us having a lot more freedom with that blended whiskey series, we've played around with a lot of different barrels from different wineries. We've done Sangioveses, we've done Cab, Pinot Noir, Zinfandel barrels. We have some stuff aging in Madeira casks right now. Our double oak series has been great. We've double oak stuff. And I mean, he's not really coming in with a scientific formula for all of this. It's not this age is right when I'm going to pull it. It's not going to be like that. We're going to taste it. We're going to taste it. We're going to taste it. When it's finished, it's ready to go. We'll pull it from the barrels. We'll bottle it, but that doesn't mean we're releasing it at that point.
But it's also Adam just, hey, somebody gave me a wine barrel, so we're going to try this. And, that's kind of the beauty of it.
Yeah, the fact we're small distillery, we can do a lot more different things without risk, right?
Yeah.
So there are a bunch of duds back there right now that we hopefully age into something better. But there's some barrels that we just lost, right? They're just up to the barrel guys, and we hope that one day they may taste good, and they may not. But we didn't waste, thousands of barrels in this project because we're just so we're a small distillery. So.
Well, I was going to ask you about that. Like, talk about negative positives, you talk about positives, but you're talking about a negative barrel. What's a negative experience you're trying to see?
That Midnight Cask double oak. It's called Devil's Asshole for a reason. Not great.
It's not a hot sauce either.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
a good beat.
Not great. But
But
that's
so like,
something that we're just gonna age. And if it turns, and it starts getting better. We're hoping for that.
we hope it gets
It's
better.
It can only go.
Otherwise, it'll be a blend.
we're lucky that Adam hasn't had very many misses, but that was
So the double
Off the mark.
double whiskey war double was actually an accident, right? We double oaked the whiskey. We double oaked the whiskey once,
Yeah.
and then we tasted it. And it was kind of a dud. He was like, "Holy shit, what do I do?" So let's see. Let's put it back another barrel, see what happens. That's when we got the double. No, it's double. It's two doubles.
That'd be quadruple.
Which is really triple.
A lot of
Yeah,
doubles.
it's a triple.
Triple,
It's a
double.
but it's triple.
Either way, there was a mess up. We tried something else, and it ended up tasting really freaking good. It sold out in 2 minutes.
Yeah,
honestly.
we had 180 bottles sell in 2 minutes.
I was going to ask about that in a second.
So talk about selling out. I just want to let everyone know.
Their
And
head.
his balls are delicious.
Balls are gone, sold out. Can't purchase them anymore.
He's been castrated.
So going off that, looking around here, do you guys have anything you're working on or anything exciting right now?
So you see, he knows we have something special
Yeah.
back here, and he wants to taste it.
Yeah, so
Yes.
we have, I guess that's another.
Gotta finish this one.
Not drinking fast enough.
So yeah, this is something that I,
No, we don't.
start off with the second fill Sangiovese. Because I think this one's done. So yeah, we have this second fill Sangiovese. We did our first barrel select, I believe was the Cabernet and then the Sangiovese first fill. But this second fill Sangiovese with the whiskey port barrel proof has been aging since February 20th of 2020. So we're looking at just over 2 years in that new barrel of that 4-year product. So this is looking at a total age of about 6 right now.
And so you said I really think word Sangiovese. Did I get that right? So what's that mean?
It's a sweet red.
Is it sweet red wine?
Yeah.
Or bourbon boys?
Is it a large word there?
How do you say it? Travasi?
Sangiovese.
Yes.
Sangiovese.
I'm
Marty
worried
and
if there's a
Gervais.
backlash, there's probably going to be some.
It's actually.
That sounds great.
Sangiovese.
Mario and Drake.
Oh, you guys need some more, so we pour heavy down here.
Oh, no.
Poor Ryan.
No,
No, it's all right. You guys, it's okay.
As
I'm
recipients,
gonna save my balls. It's fine.
either Todd or Dylan or anybody.
No, it's good. It's good. Don't worry.
What are tasting notes we would get?
Yeah, Todd. Buckeye Bourbon Guy. Show your skill.
Oh, wait.
This is you.
Here we go.
I don't have that many
He's got-
cameras.
Add the music on. Go. Step.
Wow.
See you good guys. Trying to do something.
Go for it.
But you definitely, I mean, you're definitely here.
There you go. Get a better glass.
Yeah, you're definitely getting a lot of the red fruit. I get a little plum, cherry off of the wine, but then you get that nice oak that's coming through as well for me.
How did you figure out how to find those things out of those flavors out?
Practice.
So,
It's
no,
all
no,
about
you're right.
practice.
So basically, when I first got into bourbon, it was a while ago. But basically, when I started really get into it, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna get at least one note on the nose before I'm allowed to drink it. Then I'm gonna get at least two notes on the nose before I'm allowed to drink it. And basically now I'm at three. If you can get three good notes off something, then that allows you to compare it to the taste. And so
I
I
like
just
that.
forced myself to do it.
I think what I've picked up from him and Drew, who isn't here, but a lot of these educated, experienced
Odor,
drinkers-
say it, odor.
No. I won't do you like that. But the bourbon steward says, don't overcome. Try and pick up at least, or not at least, but at those three things that you're picking out every single.
Well, and why I like that, I think it kind of fits our brand too, because we kind of started this project to be like, not be totally inundate people with all these crazy tasting notes, like things you can't even really comprehend.
Marzipan.
Yeah, like
Right?
Or we definitely read reviews and laugh at how.
If you're not enjoying it's a lot, that's more related to anything, right?
Well, and I like Todd's approach where it's like where you practice, where it's like, you know, like when you're younger, it's like I'm gonna hit three free throws before I go inside and like hang out with my parents. That same idea.
That's what I do. Like 3 drinks and then I
And
get
you
Son.
I want 3 drinks before I go inside.
But it's, and it's not to say you don't get more. I mean, sometimes you get a bourbon that's like, oh my gosh, extra. You know, I get 5 or 6, but I force myself. And then there's times where it's like, yeah, this just isn't gonna happen.
And so we have a question
rub it
here.
down with someone.
What effect does the aging have on the bourbon? What have you guys noticed? Or what do you guys think?
Smoothing it out, adding more flavor.
You're getting most of your flavor and your color in the first year, but after that you're pulling the sugars out of that flavor.
Yeah, you're gonna get it more. I think your both what you get on the nose and on the palate are become more distinct taste and flavors. So what you get, I mean, I don't think the 88, our black label and the green label. I think there's a few variations in what you get, but mostly it's crisper on the green label. It's the same thing, just a little crisper because it's not doesn't have that water added.
Yeah, I can typically pick out anything aged less than 3 years.
Yeah,
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean,
Then
start picking up on
Gotcha.
where people are getting their grains from and where people are sourcing their barrels from. That American oak is going to be changing flavor profiles regionally.
And so when you take apart a barrel after you guys have aged, you can see it in the staves how far
That whiskey has
has penetrated into
yes.
the wood. Right? I think when I was back there,
Yep.
shooting
That's
the video, I
pretty
saw
far.
the staves,
Yeah.
and I didn't look, but you can see
It's
it.
getting close to the edge.
yeah,
for sure.
the red line. Yeah, the red line, which is
It's pretty
last
cool,
one.
and you can actually do some things with those staves after they're
Yeah.
been used. You know, I know some barrels they'll go over, over the Atlantic Ocean, they'll go over to Europe for Scotch or anything. But something that I've experienced is, you guys have seen it in some of my recipe videos, actually adding the staves as fuel to the smoker, and that's gonna be something that's going to be kind of like increased, I guess, over the summer as weather is going to get more in our favor in Ohio. But you can actually taste the difference. Now, there was one time I actually caught my smoker on fire.
I was gonna say he was gonna bomb.
Yeah, literally an alcohol-soaked piece of wood. But no, it actually adds a phenomenal flavor to the crust, and it's really nice.
Jack Daniels has found a way to extract that alcohol from all these staves and somehow make Jim Beam. I'm sorry, Jim Beam. And make thousands and thousands of bottles.
Yeah, devil's cut.
Devil's cut.
And there's that much
It's
alcohol.
amazing they can do
There's a
that.
lot.
Yeah.
I mean, you're losing 6 to 8% of your whiskey in those barrels every year.
So that's
Yeah.
6% is make thousands of bottles. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
betwing
Across the entire
Angels,
That's
international, the Angels Scott, which is all the evaporation.
Right.
Well, you can fight that. You all you gotta do is just squeeze it.
Yeah, so you just put it
I don't
in
know
a
what
press,
they-
squeeze it out.
Yeah.
Anybody, you could do this at home.
I don't know, we tipped like 17 barrels over and we got like a pitcher of, it was great, some of the best whiskey ever.
Really?
Got some flakes in it, but you know.
So I guess
That's unfiltered whiskey.
Yeah.
when a barrel's finished with it, could you just put like distilled water in it and kind of like let it sit for a while? Maybe it soaks up that from the wood. Like, would that be something that could happen? Sounds disgusting.
Yeah.
It sounds
Yeah, I
sounds
mean-
like a bad idea.
Yeah.
Yes, you could do that. You
Good.
definitely
It
would.
sounds like you're
Probably
on-
wouldn't taste good. You're gonna eat
It sounds like you're on like the way to just preserving a barrel, because that's what you gotta do to preserve it.
What's a
You just
what?
gotta
What do
add
you
water.
open
Small batch water coming
Small
from
batch
your
water.
It's alcohol, very low proof.
This water is too proof.
So we talked about Jim Beam there a little bit, but another question we had here was, in your opinion, like what you guys describe and what is the current atmosphere? I want to say bourbon because that's like our brand, but what about the spirits industry at the world? What do you guys? How do you guys describe the industry right now? Like, is it like craze that's going on, or anything like that?
Yeah, I think it's in a good place.
I think we are in a good place.
Yeah.
I think that everybody tried to forecast the spirit industry, and
They chose gin.
they chose gin, and they were wrong on that gamble.
Yeah.
Outside the State House, which is
Amazing.
fire.
Amazing.
It's great. Yeah, I think
Best gin in Ohio. And that's the week before that far away.
Producer Max has the same house.
Is the wink there? Can you
Do
get
you
the
have?
You know,
So-
I
Yes.
think that we're set in our ways, and I think it's that the whiskey craze, but and then you can't go outside of cocktails here
Yeah.
in the United States.
I personally encourage everybody to try tequila and keep going
That's
to
great.
tequila so the whiskey and bourbon is more available.
It'll make
To
it
go to
nice,
the
very
most-
I like the way Todd thinks.
So rum or tequila, go.
Don't do what Todd said, actually.
You'll have a great night. It's fun.
When Todd leaves, we'll cut back. We'll bring him back in later.
Aren't
Fire twice now.
aren't folks kind of experimenting now with the tequila
Yeah.
aging in there?
So I was here like 2 weeks ago, and Adam walked back in agave liqueur sample bottles, and he's like, "We're thinking about aging it." And I was
Yeah.
like, "Oh."
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, Adam loves tequila, so it's not like it's out of the realm of, well, aging it, but you can't make it here.
Well, we can age it.
We can age
I mean,
it.
it's not going to be tequila, but
Yeah.
in agave, I've had some in Colorado after,
Okay.
but
We're high bay.
yeah.
So it's gonna be
So
good.
it's gonna be good.
Exactly.
It's not going
Or we'll come out.
Adam won't release it. It's not
Yeah,
good.
we'll not
We'll
come
try
out.
it.
They'll never see the light of day.
Yeah.
Or small batch
A
water.
lot of that,
Yeah.
like
Small batch
agave,
water.
agave spirits that I've tried were like just that fine middle point of tequila meets vodka. It was just not a good combination. So I hope if we go that route, we start aging it, it won't be that way around. Because he was using, the only thing that he wanted to do was that 99% agave, which is about as close.
So I just thought of a question for you guys. So I know you guys talked about the struggles of getting your bottles out of Ohio, and I know you guys are already doing blends with local distilleries like in Columbus. If you guys did a blend with a distillery that was outside of Ohio, and they were the distributors of that bottle, even though the blend was in it, you guys would make profit off of it. Would that be?
That's a wonderful question and idea.
Yeah.
I'm gonna text Adam right now and ask him. What's your point? Yeah.
I'm just a tour guide.
If it's a mutual relationship, we're both benefiting from it.
Yeah. I'm not sure if it's all grown that, but yeah.
Well, I mean, to give you an example, I mean, that's basically Old Scout,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, right.
I mean, Old Scout uses their own, plus blends it with an MGP.
Right, right.
And there's others that do that. Old Soul does the same thing, and
Right.
there's different brands that do that.
The assumption would be yes, that is possible, so, yeah.
Because that is like a follow-up question to, are there bigger distilleries outside of Ohio that are kind of a inspiration to you guys? Something when they're doing, you know, someone who's kind of like leading the charge in the industry, you know, like almost like trendsetters in the industry. Is there something that, you know, the big companies are doing that you guys are like, oh shit, we got to hop on this?
If we're talking about inspirations right here, and this came from the base big dark which is that Canadian whiskey blended with American whiskey.
That's a great segue.
Blended with that Tommy Horse.
Okay, so
Which, or just a port in general, so that's where Midnight Cask was born out of, that idea where if Adam's going to a bar, he doesn't want to order a cocktail, he wants to drink something that's essentially a cocktail in a bottle.
right.
So it's that Midnight Cask. It's, no, this is not, but we have that going next.
Sage regular,
Alright.
So
Yeah.
we had a
Time
question
jump
earlier.
That's not fair.
We had a question earlier about if you like sweet wine, what would be a good product for them that you can try. This is theirs, right? This is
We have the starter version and then we have the barrel proof.
yeah, it's the barrel proof. This is the one.
This is the barrel proof?
Yeah, so
Yes.
we're back to your struggles that we're facing with production and everything. We can't find Tommy Port right now. Our distributor just is out. So that's another thing that we are struggling to reproduce again. Which they keep saying, they keep saying like 3 weeks, and then 3 weeks goes by, and it's 3 weeks again.
Yeah.
This was something that I was really, really excited about because this is my, like, if you're drinking red wine at the bar, like when I was serving here and bartending, if I had a table that was doing that, I'd be like, all right, well, we have a product that I really want to introduce you to. And I would bring them all over samples of Midnight Cask and most of them bottles. And there was a reason for it. It's like a starter whiskey, it's your dessert whiskey, but then you get the barrel proof where those ratios go from 85-15.
Oh, wow.
But that 85-15 also has that reverse osmosis to prove that down. This barrel proof version is just 90-10. So that 90% whiskey at the cask strength or barrel proof, and then only 10% of that tonic port, you're going to set about 98 to like 102.5 with this.
Definitely more whiskey.
This is
Yeah.
Yeah.
This one I get like pure raisins.
Oh wow.
It's like, that's, I pulled
Yeah,
out of
yeah,
that.
so now you got your flavors, you can drink it.
It's nature's candy.
So how do you guys market your new bottles? So I know you guys have talked about how you guys had certain bottles that sell out in 2 hours. You know, and I'm sure you know you've got your regulars, people like us who you guys hear about this. But how does the regular consumer who isn't crazy about bourbon get to hear about this?
Yeah. Well, first off, it's minutes. I wish it was hours. No, but Whiskey Society is probably the best way to get
Exactly what
to get notified of these bottles, right? So, it's, I mean, like I said, it's $200, but you get a bottle of whiskey or barrel proof, you get a T-shirt, you get a big pairing glass, you get 12 flight of cocktails, 12 cocktails, and you also get a tour. So,
Honestly, that for $100.
$200.
But that pays for itself, right?
It literally pays for itself. It's
Yeah,
not
I
a
mean-
gimmick, it pays for itself literally.
Yeah.
And you also get invites to the events we're doing every Thursday before a barrel select or bottle release.
Yeah.
And that's free. You get to bring a guest, you come and you get to taste the product and buy the product that the public does. And also you get a link earlier on the Friday, it goes on sale to the public. It's just a benefit, man. So that's the best way to do it.
If you're serious about your
Yeah.
whiskey and bourbon, it's
That's a high bank thing.
Yes.
It's a high
Sorry.
bank
We have
whiskey
our-
society.
we're heavily involved with Central Ohio Whiskey Society, your cows. Todd's part of that. Tony's part of that.
You're a part of that.
I'm in the group.
Yeah.
I need to just join at this point.
He'll be a part of it
That's-
soon.
It's something
I'm
that,
not a big member, but I'm
like they said, it pays for itself. I mean, if you're serious about getting our stuff, the second it comes out, or just getting it in general, I think it pays for itself.
Well, a question I actually was really interested in is like, what do you guys think about some of these controversial things within the whiskey community? Stuff like 40 bottles, or what do you think about people who flip bottles? Like I know, like some.
Yeah, the secondary market
Wait,
there.
speaking of that, I have a batch 12 that may or may not have won whiskey. American whiskey.
That's. I mean, for example, like your double O's, like just from what I've seen anecdotally, Like that sold out in 11 minutes, something like that.
Yeah, so that was 300 bottles sold out in 7 minutes for
Yeah.
batch 3,
Yeah.
but batch 2 was 800 bottles, like 22 hours, and that was with the power outage here. So people could not buy bottles in store during that.
Well, and what I noticed was that like people on like the groups, you know, they were like, oh, trade like as soon as I got home, they were selling it, or they were trying to trade bottles for it. Or people have like they'll show their collection. They have all these ones from high bank, none of them are open, and they're out like they're just like trying to add to the collection. Like, what do you guys think about that whole?
I'm going to read something from Adam. Adam here. Adam wrote this actually. He's asking these questions. He goes, "It's flattering that we have seen people reselling our bottles on secondary market. It shows that we've created a product that people want to drink and have in their collection. It's humbling, but with that being said, whiskey's made to be drank and enjoyed with friends. So if you have the balance sheet to buy high and still enjoy liquid, more power to you. But if it's just a status piece on your shelf, you do you, I guess." That's what he said.
Yeah, I think it's truly something to tip your cap to. Yeah, these people are out there trying to spend their money for a product. I believe the other distillery worker, Mike, was telling me that it was either the Sangiovese or the first Cabernet that we would have had for the barrel selects that went for $450. So honestly, like I said, with the legislation, it's good that people outside of Ohio are trying to buy these things, but we're not going to spend all our time just trying to get that to be a thing that we're working towards.
No, it's definitely cool. Adam has a very extensive whiskey collection. Todd as well. Been to both their houses, and the first thing they say is anything is good, right? Nothing like there's a few bottles that are not opened yet, but they're shared. So whiskey's made to be shared and drank, not just set the shelf and collect dust.
And that's the hoarding aspect, right?
Yeah.
It's something that we're not trying to live and die by any means.
Sorry
It's
about
something
that.
just tip your cap. It's always going to happen, no matter what industry or market you're in. But it's not something that we spend time thinking about.
Right. No, it's cool because you get to like kind of share that memory, I guess, when you do open up that nice bottle, or maybe you want the Ohio Liquor Lottery or whatever it might have been. You get to share that with your guy, your people. It's cool.
Yeah, and that's the way it should be. I mean,
Yeah.
Again, it should be open and shared, celebrated.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
The reason that we're doing this is for it to be
Bottle
enjoyed.
back.
Not to be sold in store, but
Right.
once it's in this bottle, it's honestly not going to taste different. Whether it's sat on a shelf for 15 years,
Right.
it's not going to change anything.
Yeah. Well, we were just down in Kentucky, like this actually like
Yesterday?
last
I just realized.
we were down there doing some tour stuff for our page and all that, but but anyway, we went through. It kind of flew off. But we were at like at Victor's, and like they had their M10 out like for 2022, and we were like 2 people away.
Oh god.
And I was so frustrated. But then immediately afterwards, the guys in the Columbus groups, I see them on like already up, and it's just so frustrating because like that would have been one I would have brought home. I would have had my dad or with these guys, and I'd been like, oh, this is like a cool bottle we just got.
That does annoy me. Like with PS5, you're just buying it just to sell it.
It
That's annoying
takes
as
away
hell.
from what we're trying to do here. Right.
I will fight any. Okay.
But there's a lot of
PSA.
I want to fight this. Wait, that can be arranged. We do it every Friday
Every
night.
Friday night.
So
Fight Club happens.
hearing that stings a little bit. We are a craft distillery. I spend a lot of time on these bottles.
Yeah,
There's
exactly.
a lot of love that goes into it. I mean, there's 7 to 8 touches on all of these bottles between what I'm doing, between the front label, neck label.
You have help, damn it. This
Well, I got like one
credit.
other person, but yeah. There's so much love
Michael, if you're
that
watching this,
all of us
Dylan
do back
says he
here,
makes you
and
him
that's
do
such a
everything.
loveless thing to just, you know what, I'm gonna buy this just to sell it for 4 times.
Well,
Yeah,
literally
and somebody was trying to buy that to enjoy it.
And that's
Right.
a question too that a lot of people kind of are talking about. Is like if people bottles get from so much, like your white label, like your really limited bottles that come out. Those end up getting bought. People store them and then sell them, and they sell them obviously for a markup, maybe a few times sometimes. And do you guys, from a distillery perspective, feel like you're getting kind of chipped out on that lost revenue, or how do you guys kind of approach? Do you guys look at that when you guys consider pricing, or what's the angle?
I mean, the bottle's been purchased. It's literally bottled to us, right? Like, the bottle's been bought. Like, if it's, no one's hoarding whiskey war. I hope not.
I have old closet.
And I will add, I mean, part of Adam's, I think, premise throughout is A, it needs to taste good, B, it needs to be affordable.
Right.
And so the products, even the special releases he does, are in a price frame where, yeah, they're gonna be a little higher because they're special releases, but they're still affordable if that's what you really want.
Yeah.
And that's kind of Adam's, you know.
From the beginning, even when
Yeah.
he won the award, they were like, "You're gonna raise your price of the bottle." No.
For the sake of everybody understanding, I'm gonna call those people good mentors. So those people are gonna exist in everything.
Yeah.
They're gonna suck all of the enjoyment and love, fun out of everything that
Every
everybody
bottle
does.
is awesome.
No, it's great. All they're doing is just sucking the love that we put into our products out of it.
Right.
They're making it emotionless. And
This is
I mean, it's frustrating. I
we
guess,
try
being
and
on-
get
yeah.
as far away from that.
Right.
Because we want to provide enjoyment
Yeah.
for everyone.
Oh, yeah.
And so,
You mentors out there.
Wait, I just want to comment, that was passion. It was. I appreciate it.
It's Levioso, not Levioso.
that's an old one.
Was that's for more of the rings?
Exit stage left, everybody. Exit stage left.
You're talking about the guy that's over film.
I know.
But
That's a Step Brothers quote. I understand. I get it.
we had a question earlier. And
Thanks.
we'll come back to it. Where do you guys see like the bourbon craze, or the spirits craze that's going on right now? Where do you guys see that in the future, like maybe 5 years or whatever? Where do you guys see it?
It's still here. It's not going anywhere. We saw it through a pandemic and it didn't slow down. They don't ramp up.
It definitely ramped up.
Yeah.
Notwithstanding my encouragement to people to buy rum.
That's a really valid point, Todd, because a lot of people have been switching to rum and tequila. And I feel like almost half of it's almost because whiskey is so tough to combat.
I guess my perception is, I mean, I think people are starting to slowly get into that, but I'm not seeing it let up on the whiskey bourbon, and I don't think it's going to. I agree with Dylan.
It's become a thing you share with friends, man. Like,
Yeah.
honestly, it's like having cigars, or getting together, drinking Bud Light. Like, whiskey has become that thing that you now do when you get together. Like, you share the bottle, but I think it's awesome, you know?
It's
New beer.
emotional,
Wait,
it's
to be
passionate.
clear, I'm only promoting rum and tequila because I just don't want whiskey.
You know why, Todd. You're selling
Yeah.
To be clear.
He's the bourbon guy for a reason.
To be fair.
To be fair.
It's nice. But yeah, it's not good. It's emotional.
Yeah. What do you guys
It's
think?
the- like I said,
I think it's going to
rising tides.
evolve. I think it's going to evolve. I think you'll see a lot of more specialty products, if anything. But I think it's just going to get better, and it's awesome. Like it's cool for us because this is how like we started, I guess, bonding. You know, we all kind of been around the same circles, but like just sitting around and talking about what we're drinking and telling stories, like that's kind of how we started as a group. And it's just cool that it's progressing, and we get to have these experiences like today, which we can't thank you enough for. It's really cool.
I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it has not been that long since this was illegal to do.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
if it's
Wait,
still
what was
that,
what was illegal?
drinking, drinking prohibition,
1933 was just around.
that's not in the grand scheme.
That was just a few years ago.
That long ago. I mean, it's a couple
Dang.
generations.
He's not wrong.
What was illegal?
That's a couple generations.
I have some concerns about what I'm participating in.
I mean,
We're being responsible.
I just
as well.
wanted to clarify, nothing occurring today is illegal.
Correct. And we're being responsible.
Always.
We cannot
Always
stress that
responsible.
enough.
We have to emphasize that. We are responsible.
I think we get to the latter half of this conversation, or toward the end of this. And a question I like to ask a lot of people: if you guys had like a message for whiskey enthusiasts, either for your brand or in general, novice or experienced, like what would it be? What would the message be to?
try everything. Everybody's got a different palate. Try everything. And then don't let other people skew you or sway you any other way. Just enjoy what you enjoy and live life. Share it with your friends, and then they'll form their own.
I always say on my tours that my goal, my job is not to have highway beer here whiskey. I just want to be in your selection.
I
like, I don't know if it needs to be your top 10, but like I wish it tastes really good. If you can be a part of it, cool. If not, that's cool as well. You know, all palates are different, but my goal is not to have like, oh, this needs to be yours. You know, it's just we're friends hanging out, honestly. And I'm about to do one of your goodies.
Adam has made our job.
I love you guys.
Where's your Foxy t-shirt?
Oh my God.
That's great. Todd, what about you? You're ingrained in the bourbon community, so what's...
No, I concur with what Dylan and Tony said. I mean, it's a great product. I was thinking about this the other day. A lot of people I've met, and who I consider good friends now, were through the whiskey community. And so it's a bonding experience, and you know, if you get something you don't like, share it with others and say, hey, if you like this, take it. What do you got that I might like? Let's swap out. I mean,
Or just leave it at your house and just
Forget about it. Let it die.
We tried that with your house. You know, I will say what whiskey it was, but we tried it at your house, and Todd was like, take this back.
It went into the sump pump.
it was me, Adam, Tony, and Drew, who's another tour guide. And we're over.
Adam brought the bottle.
Adam brought the bottle. He's like, oh, you got to try this. And I tasted it. I'm like, anybody else? You know, this is not good.
I'll take this.
And then they're like, and then Adam said, yeah.
Where's the spit button?
Well, basically, you know, there's a lot of good bourbon here, so I don't want to waste my time on this one. Like, there's a sump pump right around the corner.
We poured it on
And
myself.
it's not the first. No, it will be the
Poured
last.
it out for the home.
When you see Todd's collection, you don't have to drink bad stuff. I mean,
You don't like it?
yeah.
I'll finish it.
How many bottles? You say how many bottles you got now? That's a lot.
Overall,
Yeah, overall.
Before
I have around 500.
500 bottles, yes.
All right, Todd, well, I'll give you my phone number before you leave.
Over 300 different.
A night at Todd's house is awesome.
Well, the next live, here going now, it's at
Todd will do it.
Todd's Basin.
Is that a reason to drink? Yes.
So we got the Pinot Noir coming down.
We should probably taste it before
Okay.
the vibe goes off.
So this is one last one before we get to the next half of this, or next one.
Whatever.
Uh-huh.
Whatever happens, happens.
Whatever happens.
Dylan's cut off.
Once we deviate away from the actual interview, I guess what we're doing, they have more product we're trying here.
Yeah, what is this?
It's the Pinot Noir.
That's a horrible explanation.
Wait, second fill.
Wait.
Pinot
Is it
Noir.
noir or noir?
Noir. It's like Drake Chicago Noir.
Well, this one
Second
is
fill.
wine.
What's going into it? Go.
So it's barrel proof whiskey war going in. Where's the bottle? I don't know what date. I think it was May 27.
He's so busy in Bible. He's grabbing
Can't be
phones.
27.
That's
That's like 5 years in the future.
May 27. What?
Wait, what?
No,
2027 is 5 years in the
May
future.
27. The date. The 27th of May is not 5 years in the future.
Of what year?
2021. I think.
All right. Well,
So it doesn't get heated arguments don't happen at high school.
So I get a very strong syrup.
Yeah, it's like maple
really.
syrup.
It-
Right
it
off.
smells like
right off
maple
syrup.
syrup.
What's the date on that? Say I wrote it down.
Not 2027.
It says 5/27/21.
Which I just said.
No,
in
you
there.
said 527. I'm like, what are we, 5 years? in
You
the
stop at 26, totally right. 21. Anyway.
Yeah, but 5/27 is just still May 27th. So no year. There's no year.
So explain it now.
It could have.
It
This
is.
was filled
Okay.
on
With
May
with
27th.
What?
With barrel proof. This is our single barrel expression of our batch whiskey
Okay.
coming out whenever.
Whenever the hell it comes out.
Yeah.
Unreleased product. You got to taste it.
So Pinot Noir is a red wine, correct?
Yes.
Dark
No,
wine.
You're wrong.
It is a wine.
You're right.
It's a red one.
You are right.
I'll tell you what, this thing is delicious.
Good.
This is
No, it's very
like
good.
breakfast.
It's not that.
Yeah. This
Very good.
is maple syrup of one.
Actually, I think this is actually the first. This is the first barrel select that we filled with a 4-year product.
Really? Oh, really? I mean, it's so.
So
No, it's awesome.
it's approaching 5 years.
Well,
at this
finish on
point.
that.
That's really good.
Yeah.
So do you see
I really like that.
more of a, I guess a good blend with red wines? I get like a red
I mean,
finish
we've seen
versus.
some variances because we did those Zinfandels,
I was
which
gonna
were
say,
yeah.
fantastic. And
Yeah.
that was real weird and real specific that they came from the same vineyard or winery.
Yes, I left and right.
But there were 2 barrels that were stored next to each other there that we sourced.
So, the fairness, the intent was to bottle them both, so you had more bottles. of
Yeah,
both.
just a bottle of both of them. They
Okay.
came
Oh,
out
yeah.
drastically different. The left one came out dry, tasting like apples and cinnamon, and the right one came out extremely sweet, tasting like berries.
Yeah.
So we sold them separately, marketed it as 2 bottles, 3 whiskeys, because once you blended them together, it was fantastic, and it came out completely different.
I've always wanted that whole 2 bottles.
Yeah, it sounds way too close to something that we all know. With one cup.
They may be too young for that video, but
Wait,
okay.
that's hard. Don't go there.
I've been
No, we're
waiting
not
for
going
the
there.
video. But there's
Not this
a
hard.
yeah, not this hard. Anyway, go
Our
ahead.
whiskey's better than that video.
Wait, what video?
I don't know what it's called. What's it called, Ryan? You know what it's called?
I think it's
And
You're out of time.
yeah. All right.
But this is delicious. So, as a rep, I'm here. We might do a really short tour if you guys want to. Run
Absolutely.
5-star Todd.
Is there anything?
got Todd as
Is there anything you guys want to share, like social news, anything, like social media stuff? I know you're.
Yeah, follow us on shit. High
High
Bank
Bank Distillery.
High Bank Distillery Co.
Co stuff.
Wait, High Bank Distillery. Wait,
Wait.
High Bank Distillery, High Bank Company.
Yes,
Both
High Bank
on
Company.
Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah, thanks, Todd. That's why
2
you're here.
different.
That's why you work here.
And then individually, Todd, you have your channel.
I am the,
page.
again, Buckeye Bourbon Guy. Pictures of bourbon bottles and my witty commentary.
Yeah.
Feel free to follow.
Also got a podcast called Flicks Worth Watching.
And-
Flicks is spelled correctly. Everybody spells it wrong.
With an
What
extra.
with Tony?
No, it's
No,
not.
what's
F-I-L-C-K-S. No, Tasting with Tony.
Tasting with Tony.
Tasting with Tony, which is we become bloopers now.
Tasting with Tony. Todd Drew are
Yeah.
specifically
Yeah.
excluded from the
Andrew,
title.
it's not
It
Andrew.
happens.
So yeah, but mainly High Bank. High Bank Distillery, High Bank Co.
I think it's High Bank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just HBD Homes. HBD underscore.
No one cares about your personal Instagram page, man.
Is
it? I
Only my stories.
All right. Well, cool. So I think we're all gonna get mobile now.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah,
Yeah, let's get mobile. Todd.
Time to go.